I am Nina Newman. I'm the Director of Admission and Financial Access here at King. And we're really excited to put a spotlight on our athletic and physical education program today. Joining me are three of my colleagues, and I'm actually going to start by just having them introduce themselves and tell you a little bit about their role here at King. We will open it up to Q&A, so if you can use the Q&A button at the bottom of the screen, we would love to make sure that while we're here, we will get all of your questions answered. So Allie, do you want to kick it off?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Allie Stoddart, and I am the Lower School Physical Education, Health, and Movement Coordinator here at King. I'm also a middle school coach and a former upper school coach, both at King. This is my 11th year here. I am a King parent of two students in the lower school. My daughter is in second grade, and my son is in the pre-K 4 program. I'm going to spend a couple minutes talking about what physical education looks like in the lower school in terms of our curriculum and our philosophy, both for the lower elementary grades and the upper elementary grades. In grades pre-K through 2, our program focuses a lot on free exploration, body awareness, cooperation, locomotor, kinesthetic movements. Our units provide an opportunity for students to develop fundamental movement patterns, coordination, fine and gross motor skills through a variety of activities using modified equipment at developmentally appropriate levels. These activities are designed to help students build their spatial awareness, learning how to navigate space safely, control their bodies, move with a purpose in relation to others. We begin to work with individually partners, group settings, the concepts of cooperation, teamwork, good sportsmanship are introduced and reinforced at this age, and it helps students build a strong social emotional foundation as they progress through our program to the upper elementary grades. In grades 3 to 5, PE does tend to become more sport focused. There is we have a pretty extensive curriculum that there are non-sport specific units that they do that are peppered kind of throughout the year. But we really develop specific skill sets, understanding game rules, exploring basic strategies behind sports. Positive sportsmanship, again, is at the forefront of our program. It's explored kind of more deeply as a concept and how it's connected directly to gameplay. It allows students to practice respect, teamwork, fair play, all within a competitive setting. We focus really on individual growth and personal improvement rather than winning or losing. And as a program as a whole, as a curriculum as a whole, we do try and cover majority of the offerings that are offered at the middle school level, so that our goal is that by the time a student kind of moves through the PE program in the lower school, that when they graduate as a 5th grade student, they have a confidence within themselves and this foundation of skills that they've built and learned with us, and they have an understanding of what is offered at the middle school level, that they feel comfortable and confident choosing whether it's a specific sport that they want to try at a more higher competitive level, or if it's like a sport specific activity that they found an interest in and would like to continue to improve on or work on and play at the middle school level. So it really comes full circle and connects as they leave our building and enter, the next stage of their athletic career here at King. So that's kind of a brief overview of PE, and I'm actually going to turn it over to my colleague Micah, who's going to talk about the middle school and upper school programs and the philosophies behind that.
Great, Allie, thank you so much. It's great to have everyone here. Thank you for joining us. As Allie said, my name is Micah Houben. I'm the Dean of Athletics. In my role as Dean, I work closely with Allie and her team through the Lower School Physical Education program, and also oversee our interscholastic athletics program, grades 6 through 12. This is my 9th year at King, with my both of my own children coming through the lower school, the middle school, and the upper school. My daughter is now a freshman in college, and my son is a junior in the upper school. I'm going to take a few minutes to talk about the middle school and upper school athletic programs, And as Nina mentioned, we'll certainly take time for questions after we hear from one more of our colleagues. At King, we offer a diverse competitive program design as an essential component of the overall educational experience. The athletic program and our athletes are very much a part of the fabric of the community, both in spirit and pride. And the comprehensive and co-curricular nature of the program serves as a foundation for the consistent competitive success of our teams, and something we really key in and focus on the experience of our athletes at each level. The program integrates character building, teamwork, leadership, empowering students to excel on and off the fields and courts, with our varsity teams consistently competing for New England and league championships, and many of our top athletes going on to successful college careers. There's a spot on a team for every middle school and upper school student, and we believe in a holistic approach to athletics, offering a wide range of interscholastic and developmental opportunities for those students in grades 6 through 12. A little more specifically on the middle school program, we emphasize participation, skill development, and sportsmanship. Each of the 3 seasons, students select from a variety of team and individual sport options, allowing them to explore their interests and strengths. Options include programs that prioritize health, teamwork, and sportsmanship and meet the needs and interests of our students, while balancing a focus on competition and enjoyment. We help students develop a lifelong appreciation for movement, physical activity, and general health and wellness. Coaches at the middle school level work closely with the students to build their foundational skills and game strategies. As we think about what Allie touched on with the development and movement of grades 3 through 5, getting a little bit more comfortable with some of those team-based sports and activities, we then take that next step to create a positive experience. Again, we're looking to instill values of discipline, respect, and perseverance. Competition levels vary by team and program, with many competing against other schools, and several options each of the seasons more developmental and recreational in nature. Just a few notes: the middle school students in all grades participate in one of our programs each of the 3 seasons. On-campus practices and training sessions take place each day during the last period of the school day, while games and some of our off-campus programs end at varying times. Competition levels do vary by team and program, with players being placed on appropriate skill and ability level teams, and game schedules then are set accordingly, with many teams competing against local peer schools. And I mentioned before, our developmental programs based on campus. As we transition to the upper school, we offer more than 35 varsity and junior varsity teams across the 3 seasons. In the high school, practices and games are after school, and students are required to participate in at least one sport per school year, with many of our students taking place and participating in 2 to 3 each year. Year-round training opportunities, preseason programs, and spring training trips for our spring teams enhance athletic growth and the strength of our cultures and overall athletic levels of success. State-of-the-art facilities and dedicated coaching support also help build the success of our athletes and teams. We strive and believe strongly in strong program cultures and look at commitment, goal setting, hard work, positive effort, and attitude, and providing those upper school student athletes with the chance to develop their capabilities to the fullest extent possible in an engaging and challenging atmosphere. We really are proud of our student athletes as they embody the ideals of sportsmanship, citizenship, leadership, and cooperation, and go out in the communities in a much more external way to represent themselves, their teams, their programs, our school, and their families with pride and class. And our coaches really look to develop engaging and challenging atmospheres, supporting those athletes and teams as they strive for excellence. Some quick overviews, and then again, we'll open hear from another one of our colleagues with some more information about some of these. We do have a full athletic health services staff, including athletic trainers, strength coaches, and mental performance coaches. We run a series of leadership, character, and culture building programs for our student athletes and coaches every year. We do have assigned members of our college counseling team that work with students and families considering participating in the college athletic level. We do have, through the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Belonging Office, we have a coordinator for athletics that helps support all of our athletes, coaches, and families. And we work closely with our King Cares community engagement program and our global education initiatives and opportunities to provide just some tremendous and transformative programs for our student athletes and teams. So I'm going to wrap up at that point. We're going to shift over to Emma Johnson, who's actually our Director of Student Athlete Health Services. And we'll talk a little bit more specifically about some of these programs and unique natures of what we offer in support of our athletes and families. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Micah. Hi, everybody. I'm Emma Johnson. I am the Director of Student Athlete Health Services. This is my 15th year at the school. Inside my role, I am one of the athletic trainers, which is a licensed healthcare profession. I also teach our health and wellness curriculum, which is called Life Skills here at King, to 7th grade. And every now and then I collaborate with the upper school life skills teachers as well. I also I co-run our leadership support group called Captain's Council for all our captains on all our athletic teams throughout every season. We meet about twice a week. And alongside that, like Micah mentioned earlier, I am the leader and planner of our leadership support days or leadership exploration days, however you want to call them. We have one for the girls in August and one for the boys in January, February. I also sit on the student support team group as a connecting member from our athletic day to our academic day. We meet about every other week or so, and that group consists of members from the upper school group, like deans of students, counselors, head of upper school, diversity, equity, and inclusion director, and some other academic support personnel. I also collaborate with our strength and performance coach to help make sure that athletes find that space and that coaches can utilize that expertise to elevate their athletic programs. Our approach here at King to healthcare for in the sports realm is really a holistic approach, which I am really proud of. I think it's really important to center the human, the student, the person behind all the healthcare. So what that looks like is that we see the student athletes throughout the school day, during practice, and their competition events. We center the person and see what that person needs. Which means that I collaborate really closely with school counselors, with our mental performance coaches, with our strength and performance coaches, the families, of course, and medical doctors, our school nurse, really anybody who we think is appropriate for that student athlete to utilize to get better and excel at their sport. I think that's it in a nutshell. I'm happy to answer any questions that you all have. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. So as I mentioned, we would love to have you guests ask a few questions, so you can use the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen. But I will kick it off by actually following up with Emma and wanting to ask you a little bit about how we support our most talented athletes and how when they're trying to accomplish their goals of competing at the next level.
Thank you. That's such a great question. I am a strong believer of when you ask somebody to perform at a high level, we need to have a high level of support. So us athletic trainers, we don't only provide acute care, like when somebody actually gets hurt. Most of our day is spent providing preventative care. So we help athletes prepare for their physical needs in the athletic training room, sometimes outside, sometimes in whatever space we can find. And like I mentioned before, I think strength training is so important to prepare for high performance. So getting them into the strength room and really coordinate whatever care they need. Because again, high performance, we need high support for that person.
Great. Micah, did you want to add in there?
Yeah, with the level of our coaches, many who have played at high levels of college, some professional coaches, they also help support our strongest athletes in looking to continue to develop. And whether that's in season and what that looks like for the training regimen and preparing for the games and competitions, but also what does the out of season program and structure look like to really set those students up for a lot of success. So as Emma talked about, our mental performance coaches, our strength coaches are actually available all year, including the summer. And so athletes that would like to continue to train and build and grow and get faster and stronger, both physically and mentally, have that opportunity to do so through our programs with the leadership from our coaches, from the athletic trainers, from our, like as Emma said, the student support team, college counseling. So it is very much a tremendous amount of support at every level for the students and the student athlete. And then in that case, when they're looking to really excel and move on to that next level, we have a tremendous support system and foundation in place for that.
Thanks, Micah. Allie, moving back to the lower school a little bit, can you talk about how you engage our stronger athletes in the fourth and fifth grade who might be chomping at the bit to get involved in interscholastic sports?
Yeah, of course. That's a great question. We do currently have a lot of students who participate in, you know, a specialized sport or a specific sport outside of King, and you know, have a really strong skill set in that sport because they play at a competitive level, maybe outside of school or in a league somewhere. You know, we have a really robust PE curriculum that I think it's so important that students are exposed to a variety of sports, and that's something that we really value here, even at the middle school level, given that they have so many choices that they can choose from, that, you know, we continue to support their developing bodies by, you know, practicing other sports and skills that they might not be as comfortable with, but they can translate and only strengthen the ones that they are using when they play, you know, a specialized sport outside of school. And, you know, I think our fourth and fifth grade curriculum we have, I want to say 22 units that they participate in throughout the year. And it also allows them for when we do come to that unit, maybe of the sport that they are particularly strong in, it also provides them a platform and an opportunity to work and hone in on their leadership skills, because they become kind of like another, you know, coach, so to speak, within that unit and that class or activity, where they can help their peers who have maybe never played that sport before or are just starting out and working on their foundational skills. I've had, you know, lots of instances and small moments where, you know, a student will ask a question posing it to me as the teacher, but their peer will answer it for them who is strong, you know, within that sport at, you know, a 9-10-year-old level, in a way that they, you know, seems to click for them. And then just yesterday we had someone explain, you know, how to play defense on flag football, because that's what the unit that we're in. And the girl didn't understand fully what that meant, and her peer who plays outside of school explained it to her during the game. And in the next moment, the next play, she caught an interception, and I think he celebrated her catching that more than he celebrated his own touchdown that he had scored on the previous drive. So it's small moments like that where they do take kind of a leadership and a coaching role, you know, in a sport that they are strong in, and they learn how to, you know, help and support peers who are maybe not at their competitive level too.
Thanks, Allie. So this might be kind of a funny question for a spotlight on athletics and physical education, but I think it's an important one. And Micah, maybe you can start us off. What about the kid who doesn't identify themselves as an athlete, who doesn't feel super sporty, maybe is interested in other things or just hasn't had a lot of exposure? How do we handle kids like that at King?
I mean, I think it is a really good question, especially when you think about that middle school age. And so the program is built to provide the opportunity to really meet the needs of where the student is at. So if they're coming into sixth grade or coming to seventh grade without a lot of experience in certain, you know, athletics or team sports, the nature of the offerings really provides a chance for a few things. One, students can try something new. They're not held to programs, so they can kind of shift depending on if it's the fall, winter, spring season, depending if they're in sixth or seventh grade. A lot of times we see it's a little bit of a social dynamic. So once they start to build some friends, they might kind of go that direction, try something out, and maybe try something new. The opportunities for programs like developmental golf, a yoga program, a pickleball program. This is for the middle school, allows those students that maybe aren't as into the team sports to really find their place and their people in those offerings. And of course, then to develop, what they're looking to do as they move through middle school. At the high school level, we do have programs that are much more competitive. Our volleyball team is one of the top teams in New England and wins championships every year. We send many athletes on to Division I programs in college, but we do have 2 JV teams. So if a student isn't feeling like the intense competitive nature of varsity is where they want to be, there's a middle level JV team that's pretty competitive. And then there's a developmental program at the kind of that second JV level that lets athletes that just haven't had the time, experience, or ability to kind of play in an environment like that to really have that chance to, again, have a lot of comfort of that. And we do offer some programs. We have an intramural pickleball program as an example in the winter that also in the high school allows those students that maybe just aren't feeling that team sport element at all to be able to do that. And our individual sports, a tennis and a golf, a crew, there are programs that aren't as team-based cross country where it can be intrinsic value and just the student improving every day to really see that growth and development. So lots of opportunities there, Nina. I do think it's a good question for students and families that may not come in with years of experience or a drive for one particular sport.
It sounds like our academic program where we always talk about meeting kids where they are and challenging and supporting them at that place, and where we have some kids who are really strong in math and some kids who are more strong in humanities, we can sort of adjust. And I think athletics is similar. Some kids
Absolutely.
already really see themselves as strong, competitive, dedicated athletes, and we can challenge and support them. And some haven't, that's not maybe their passion, but we can really find ways for them to be active and stay healthy. I don't know, Emma or Allie, if you had anything to add to that question from your experience.
I can add something. I'm really proud of our athletic program that we do meet the needs, the need of students where, especially for example, if you do identify as an athlete, but an injury is preventing you from taking part of your favorite sport, right? I can create a program for you to do on the sidelines with your teammates, so you stay connected to your team even though you can't participate in their everyday practice or competitions. And then another thing, that I think is really, really awesome with our program is that I see so many middle schoolers and upper schoolers try new events that they've never tried before. I think that speaks really loudly of how safe they feel in our environments to put themselves out there to try something new, which is hard to do when you're a teenager or in a preteen. Like that's really hard. So that's a lot of credit to our coaches and our peer community that we really support that our students to be inquisitive in the athletic realm as well as the academic day.
Thanks, Emma. Allie, did you want to add anything from the lower school perspective?
Yeah, I think from the lower school perspective, it goes a lot into kind of what Micah has been talking about at the middle school level in terms of all of the different offerings that we have to reach, athletes of varying degrees. It's the same thing within the PE curriculum. Yes, grades 3 to 5 become more sports focused, but that's not the only focus. There are other units that are throughout the curriculum that, meet the needs of students who might be, good at other skills. We do like a really big circus arts unit, which is not a unit that a lot of students have any experience in, but they, learn how to juggle, stilt walk, plate spinning. Like it touches on things and skills that students might not necessarily be familiar with and kind of pushes everyone out of their comfort zone at some point. But we do a lot of the middle school offerings that Micah talked about where we have, pickleball, badminton, all these units, fun and games, cooperative games where they're learning how to play with each other. That's really kind of the predominant focus of the lower school PE program is, instilling these virtues of perseverance and, respect, kindness, integrity, and learning how to play with a group at a varying arenas, like competitive, but skill sets are all, developmental up into specialized, where students are, have a stronger skill set, but they have to learn how to play collectively and find success as a group and in a positive manner. So.
Great, thanks, Ally. Here's a great question from one of our guests. How does the school's lunch program support what students learn about nutrition and healthy eating habits, both at home and at school, and help them apply these lessons to their participation in PE and athletics? Emma, do you want to start us off with that one?
Yeah, I know I teach a small unit of, I call it food awareness, because nutrition can become pretty science heavy right away. So I do a little bit of food awareness in 7th grade, and then I know that they do it in life skills in the upper school as well. We do also have a lot of infographics up throughout the school. And every now and then we go into specific teams and talk about preparing healthy snacks or nutrition preparation for performance. Um, uh, Basically our goal is for them to perform at a healthy level as possible and not cramp or be fatigued and unfortunately get injured and things like that. There are also screens in the cafeteria that show specific food groups, amounts, recommended amounts for sports performance, or if you have a recovery day, that are on continuous rotation. So there's information available everywhere for our students all the time.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, and Nina, I would just add to that and this is speaking of my own experience of my children, their friends, it is very much just a condition of a lot of these students and children that don't yet see and are able to appreciate what the value of nutrition and eating healthy, balanced meals are. And as Emma said, we work closely with our food services program. And I think sometimes students take it for granted, but there is a wide range of nutritional options in every meal that's served in the lower school and the upper school. And so if students are willing to take that extra step to understand what the most important, nutritional aspects are to have during the day, it's fully available at King. I think it really is on people like Emma and her role of Director of Health Services, along with the coaches and the advisors, to really continue to work with the students to understand, one, what that impact can be and how positive it can actually be for how they feel, how they perform, their energy levels, to like sleep right, to eat right. So it is very much something that we think is an important focus. And we continue to try to get our students to kind of buy into that more, to, again, understand how valuable that can be.
Thanks, Micah. And our final question, so that we can let everyone get back to their lunch hour. Back to you again, Micah. I think we all appreciate the impact that coaches can have in our kids' lives. And I would just love for you to share, how you think about hiring coaches at King.
Sure. No, that's a great question. I think in some of our independent schools, in the nature of it, we really look at a balance of what we consider to be a teacher coach or an internal employee coach model and an external coach. And we are really looking for the right person with the right set of skills and tools and experience to lead and run and create an idea of being a mentor, a role model, leading with, positivity, but challenging, and creating those kind of, competitively successful environments in a way that supports each child in the teams. And so as we do that, we look really closely at who we kind of have internally and what opportunities and what value there is for, let's say, a classroom teacher to then see those students after school and build more relationships with those families and those students, as well as then to look at the strongest possible external coaches that might bring either additional networks of other coaches or student athletes and families to the table, that bring the ability to elevate a program to the level that we feel is kind of, important for our community. And again, at the core of it, to just lead with integrity through our school values and virtues, and really provide strong team cultures that support the needs of our students as well as our families, and understand how they can put themselves in position to be the best role models and mentors and lead our programs. Success is measured in a lot of different ways, and many of our programs are successful in many of those different areas. And we're looking for the right balance of external and internal people to make sure that we're providing that support and opportunity for those programs.
Thank you so much. And thank you for those of you who joined us. We will post a recording of this as well, so that if people were not able to join us today, they can watch it back. Please feel free to reach out to any of us at any time for follow-up questions. And you can always email admission@kingschoolct.org, and we can point you in the right direction if you want to speak further with Allie, Emma, or Micah. Thank you again, and have a great day.
Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of
Thank
the day.
you.